welcome to Avalon. Today is New Year's Day. We're moving out of 2025 into 2026. And if you feel drawn by the title of this video, then this message might be for you. As I pre-shuffled, there's already 3 cards that popped out of my decks. And the first one is this Sun card here. And then we also had Follow the Stream, Dedication, Trust, Future Rivers and Oceans. And we had the card, the Healing Lagoon, Rejuvenate, Recovery, Time to Heal, It's Safe to Stop. And I wanted to talk about that energy for a start because I think it's interesting that for the overall energy that kind of comes out in the pre-shuffle, the overall energy for 2026, we have the Sun card. And I think that's just very positive because the Sun card is a card of joy, of happiness, of optimism, of reconnecting with your inner child, reconnecting with your creativity. So what that tells me is right away that we're moving into a year that is going to be a lot more positive for many of us. What is also interesting about the Sun card is when we speak in terms of astrology or even numerology, to start with that, you might be familiar already with the fact that 2025 was a year where we close out a 9-year cycle, right? Because if you add up the numbers in the year number 2025, that equals 9. That means we're closing out, numerology speaking, a 9-year cycle that started back in 2016. So if you think about that, where were you in 2016? How have you evolved? How have you grown? How has your life changed and shifted between 2016 and 2025? What were certain themes that popped up over and over again? What were the big shifts and changes that you were going through? And how did that impact you in the long run so that you now for 2026 can start out in this energy of, you know what, I'm going to choose joy for myself. I'm going to celebrate today. It's New Year's Day, yes, so we might celebrate a little bit and meet with friends or family and have a good time. But also, maybe that's the theme I'm going to choose for 2026. Happiness and joy. And choosing that for myself, allowing myself to reach that higher vibrational state of keeping my frequency way, way up and choosing to be happy. And yes, there might be some obstacles and challenges coming my way, but I can handle them because if I think back on this past 9-year cycle that is closing out in 2025, I handled it all and I survived and I'm here now watching this video. So whatever begins now in this new cycle of 2026, which boils down, that number boils down to a 1, I can handle it. I handled so much in the past 9 years and I'm going to learn from all of it. I'm going to integrate all of these lessons and I'm going to use them as a boost forward to create an even more aligned life for myself in 2026 and onward. And astrologically speaking, this is interesting because we have a lot of Cazimis going on here in the beginning of 2026. What is a Cazimi? A Cazimi occurs when a planet aligns exactly with the sun within about 1 degree, so placing it literally in the heart of the sun. And that's a very rare conjunction that kind of is here to purify and empower the planet, burning away past cycles, like that 9-year cycle we've been talking about, and to spark more clarity, more renewal, and more strength, which is also an element of the sun, but also, what I've said already, more joy and more happiness. This is a day to celebrate for how far you've come. This is a day to realize that you can be so proud of yourself. You should be so proud of yourself, honey, for how far you've come and everything that you've been through and how you handled yourself so gracefully and so elegantly through it all, You're a class act, You're a class act and you deserve all the best for 2026. So maybe set that intention that you deserve the best and you will accept nothing but the best for yourself and you will decide to move into this new year with positive energy, really letting go of 2025 and the 8 years before that to start fresh and renew it, And that kind of ties in with the oracle cards we got. There is a message here with Follow the Stream, to trust that intention of joy, to see where it takes you, to trust that the future is going to enroll itself in a way that is going to be of service to you. You know, it's all about our intention, our thoughts and our feelings, and how we align them to the things that we want. Because we always send out a certain vibration and a certain energy that is going to attract back certain things to us. So if you think in terms of lack, that's basically what the law of attraction means, right? If you think in terms of lack, if you go, oh, you know, I'm not really excited about 2026 because I'm sure there's not much good happening for me this upcoming year, why would you start out in an energy like that? You know, why wouldn't you say, I trust the universe, I trust source, I trust spirit, that 2026 is going to be the renewal that I've been waiting for. And I'm going to think more positive thoughts. I'm going to constantly choose relief and more relief and more relief, to constantly think the better feeling thought that is going to be more of service for me in the now and for the future. And I'm going to focus on the good that is going to come my way. And I don't have to have it all figured out. And sure, 2026 is going to include some challenges, you know, although overall I have to say this energy of the sun for all of us is very positive. But anyway, yes, there might be some triggers, some obstacles, but I know I can overcome them if I walk in the light of my own spirit, my own joy. And if I trust source, not much can go wrong here, right? So can you dedicate yourself to trust and to just follow your bliss and see where it takes you, and for the universe to catch you, for the universe that, you know, it got you, you know, you don't have to worry about anything. The steps will appear as you go. You know, if you look on that card, there's this, can you see that? Yeah, you can. There's this little figure back there, and she's just walking out, and she's not really seeing where she's walking, right? She's not really seeing where she's headed. It's very misty. She doesn't know where she's going, but she knows that the only thing she needs to keep in mind is, as long as I know the next step I'm going to take, that's all I need to know. Because the other steps are going to appear because the universe is guiding me. I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have to have a complete plan and schedule and structure ready for all that is 2026. But I can learn to trust what the universe is guiding me toward and follow that stream. Follow that stream of consciousness and of joy. And I think that's a very nice overall message here for us on this New Year's Day. And then if we look at the other oracle card that I got, this is the Healing Lagoon. Rejuvenate, recovery, time to heal, it's safe to stop. Today is also a day to reflect on how far you've come. I've been talking about this already, right? Where we're closing out a big cycle. And there's a complete fresh start, you know, and it's reflected in the energy. There's a major energetic shift happening for all of us. For today, it's also okay to reflect on the past in order to let go of the past, you know, and to kind of look at how far you've come, to maybe take some time out for yourself today, if you can, to maybe take a bath, meditate, go for a walk, spend some time outside, do some breath work or yoga, whatever it is that is kind of in your self-care routine that feels very, very good to you. Maybe it's journaling about 2025 in order to close it out. Maybe it's sitting down and writing down your top 3 goals for 2026. You know, whatever it is that makes you feel good, that reconnects you with that joy, do that today. And if that involves a little bit of healing practice, you know, a little bit of being kind to yourself and showing compassion to yourself, then that might be a good idea. You know, that might be something that you really enjoy today. Choose joy today. Choose what makes you feel good today. But if you feel like you want to kind of slow it down, or maybe even spend this day alone, or just really focus on yourself and maybe even go to bed early, whatever it is that you feel called to do that's going to make you feel relaxed, rejuvenated, at peace, Spirit is saying do that. Focus on that and do that, you know. But I want to see some more messages here for 2026 for today. I think it's very interesting that all of the Cazimis show up that I've been talking about. We have a Cazimi, you know, on January the 6th, on the 9th, and even on the 21st. On the 6th, we have Venus, a Venus Cazimi, you know, in Capricorn. That kind of stands for relationship renewal. And then on the 9th, we have Mars Cazimi in Capricorn, which is going to give us that action boost, that we've been waiting for. The Sun card is also part of creativity and reconnecting with your inner child. So maybe there's a creative hobby or project that you enjoyed as a child that you're going to pick up again. Maybe you want to start your own business or start a new hobby for yourself. Connect with that, and you're going to feel the boost to really move toward that by January the 9th, So if there's an idea that you have, if you want to pick up painting again or finally start to write that book, that energy is coming into you very, very strongly here already in the first 2 weeks of January. And then we have a Mercury Cazimi in Aquarius on January the 21st, which is going to bring even more innovative ideas for all of us, So if there's a creative idea, but you don't really know how to go about it yet, let things naturally unfold, follow the stream of this first spark that you have about something, and the universe is going to answer everything else, all the details, that you need to know in time of this first month of the year. So this is all very, very positive. Overall, there's a big energy boost. I feel a lot of motivation coming in for all of us to finally tackle some projects, to reconnect with our creativity and with picking up a book again, or starting that class, learning that new language, learning that new skill, to no longer push it off. Maybe a lot of you in 2025 already had an idea of what you wanted to do and what you wanted to start, but energetically you weren't there yet. You felt a block in your way. You felt like maybe your body, your mind, your spirit was telling you to not start that yet. That was because 2025 was a closing out year of this past cycle that I've been talking about. But now 2026 is a fresh new beginning. So if you feel already a boost of energy to finally tackle that thing that you've been thinking about for a very long time, this is your time to do it now. But let's see if Spirit has any other message here for us for this New Year's Day kickstarting into 2026. Let's see. Ooh. I see some cards here. Okay. There's a lot. There's a lot here. The King of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Death card. All right. We have the Temperance card. We have the Emperor and the Knight of Swords. And back at the deck energy, what is interesting to me is the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups can be a card of illusion, yes, but to me it is also a card of having a lot of options, So if you think about the Sun as the center energy here for us as we move into this new year, with this being clarified by the Seven of Cups, there is so many options, there's so many choices, I almost feel the world is opening up for us. And the moment you decide to choose your joy, there's going to be more joy to experience for you outside of your own four walls, outside of your comfort zone, You might have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that you want to do, and you might daydream about them, but you haven't really taken action on that yet. 2026 is your year to take action on it, To no longer sabotage yourself out of the energy of wanting to do it, putting things off, procrastinating on it, oh, I can do it later, or no, I'm not equipped enough, making excuses. No, you're finally stepping into that. And if you don't want to prioritize this one thing, but you actually have 2 or 3 or 4 different projects, you have the energy to address all of them, to see if maybe you can combine them, to be a multi-passionate, creative being, who says, okay, I want to pick up painting again, maybe because this is what I enjoyed as a child, but at the same time, I really want to learn this new language. So I'm just going to try to maybe combine both and listen to some podcasts in the language I want to learn while I'm painting, or you might find little ideas and tweaks of maybe do more than one thing of the thing that you really enjoy, and you're no longer going to hold yourself back from the thing that you really want to do. You know, maybe in the past you really cared about the opinions of other people or your family, or, well, isn't that a weird hobby to think of, or why are you crocheting? Like, this is not really a thing that, I don't know what people say, maybe this is not really a thing that we do anymore, or this is kind of old-fashioned, this is not really age appropriate. And you're just going, I don't care, you know, it brings me joy, it makes me happy, so I'm going to go and I'm going to crochet something because that's what I want to do. You know, it could be a very small and simple thing like that. It could also be a bigger decision of really wanting to really turn a big dream of yours into the reality. And maybe in the past you have allowed other people and their perspectives on it to hold you back. I think you're keeping it more to yourself this year, and you just put the action in, especially with the Emperor that I'm already seeing over there. So this is a good energy. What I see here with the King of Cups and the Knight of Wands, there is definitely a passion project, you know, or a creative endeavor that you feel emotionally drawn toward, and you're going to reconnect with that, and you're going to do that, you know. The Knight of Wands is an energy of going back to something and maybe kind of being a bit wishy-washy, or, you know, trying it and then letting it go again and then returning to it, and then, but I see you with that King of Cups and the Death card in this energy of finally sticking to that. Maybe you wanted to pick up to learn a new language, to stick with that example many times, and you started this course in Spanish many times, but then you never followed through on it. In 2026, especially this first month of the year, you're going to finally have the motivation and the discipline and the energy to stick with that, because you want it so bad and you enjoy it so much that you almost can't help yourself but to stick with it and to sit down and do the work that is necessary, because you cannot wait to speak Spanish fluently, for example, you know. And there's a lot of emotional fulfillment for you there if you go down that road, you know, and follow your bliss. With the Death card, this is also a time of major transformation. So like I said, a big energetic shift for us, you know, where we finally leave behind maybe some procrastination tendencies, and we finally take that leap and go ahead and follow what it is that we enjoy without looking back. You might not be able to explain it, it's just in the energy. You don't have to understand it, just follow that energetic current and it will lead you exactly to where you want to go. With Temperance, I feel like there's going to be a more balanced approach. Like I said, with the Knight of Wands, maybe you were kind of back and forth in the past, but with the Temperance card, that is balancing out now. You're going to find a more easy approach into it, where whatever it is that you want to do is just going to flow in. You know, you're going to reach a state of flow for yourself, where you will be more easily able to stick with the daily or weekly work that you have to do in order to create whatever it is that you want to create, you know. With the Emperor, this is really a card of you taking the action and no longer pushing it off and saying, oh, I'm going to do it next year, you know, but you're actually going to do it now. And I feel very drawn to the number 4 on this card of the Emperor, which is a card of laying a new foundation, finding a new stability for you, you know. So if you follow your creativity, if you follow your joy, if you follow the thing that you have enjoyed for a very long time, that you have enjoyed as a child, that you want to reconnect with, if you follow the thing that makes you happy, you will establish a new foundation for your life that is going to eventually bring you even more happiness, because you align your vibration and your frequency with that happiness and with really flourishing and enjoying that process of really diving deep into something that you love, you know. And eventually you're going to feel drawn to even more things that might bring you joy and that might bring you inner peace and a new stable structure for your life, you know. So trust your gut instinct, trust your emotions, trust this new energy that comes in that is going to put you on this right path. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and you can always begin again, and you can always choose joy. You have a right to your joy. And with the Knight of Wands, I just see you taking action on it. Maybe even in terms of communicating, you know, maybe you have to tell your friends you're not going to be as available and as free as you were in the past all the time, 24/7, because you're learning a language now, you know, and you're going to take out specific amounts of time every week where you are blocking the time out to learn this language, So maybe there's some boundaries that you have to put up, where you say no, or where you say later, where you say maybe another day, but not today, because actually I found this thing for me that I really want to do, and I now want to make time for that, which also means I don't have that much free time for other things anymore, but I am actually going to prioritize myself and the thing that makes me happy. And so, maybe we have to meet another day, and that is fine, and if your friends are people who have their own creative projects going, who are very empathetic, they will understand, and they will support you, and they will be happy for you that you found this thing that you are now going to focus on a lot more in 2026. So I'm going to see if there's any final message that wants to come out. Spirit, is there any final message? What do we have to learn today on this New Year's Day that is closing out 2025, moving into 2026? We are definitely laying a new foundation here for this new 9-year cycle, and it's going to bring us a lot more clarity, a lot more energy, and a lot more drive to finally go after the thing that we want, No more loss. No more dwelling in the energy of the past, staying stuck, maybe even consciously, Maybe there's some limiting beliefs that you have to work on that hold you back, You are now choosing positivity. You're no longer choosing to focus on lack, to focus on past hurts or pains. You're now consciously choosing to move out of that energy, to realign yourself vibrationally with your desires and with the life that you want to create for yourself. And create you will this year. You will reconnect with your creativity, and that will kind of create a whole new path for you forward that is going to be aligned with a lot of love, Maybe self-love is something that you need to work on. Do you look after yourself? Do you have compassion for yourself? Speaking on a more personal note, in the past I was always looking for another person to hold me, another person to ease the pain, another person to listen to me. And yes, we do need people who care about our well-being as well. But the number one person that should care about your well-being is yourself. You can hold yourself. You can fill your own cup, and in fact you should fill your own cup. You should kind of go into this healing lagoon that we've been talking about and rest and replenish yourself so that you have the energy to go after the things that you want and to consciously choose more joy for your life. You can allow yourself to lean onto you, to hold yourself, because all that you need to achieve what you want is yourself. I get a message of self-love. I'm getting a message to no longer allow other people to bring down your mood or your joy or your feelings, your own happiness. You create your own happiness, and you are no longer going to depend your own mood and your own energy, your own joy on the moods of other people. You're going to choose you. You're going to choose to fill your cup. And one of the ways to fill your cup is to reconnect with that inner joy that you might have had as a child, that you want to reconnect with, this hobby, this skill that you want to learn, that will enrich your life in whole new ways, so that 2026 can kickstart a new 9-year cycle that is going to be complete bliss and more aligned with your desires and what you actually want. I hope. Look at that. Let's look out into the future together with a positive outlook. You can be so proud of yourself for all that you have accomplished the last 9 years. And even if not everything worked out, everything is exactly as it should be. You are exactly in the place that you need to be in order to now course correct, tweak some stuff, reconnect with people or meet new people, go out on new ventures, and really step into your creativity, step into your inner joy that is going to align you ultimately with a life that feels more like yours, and not with a life that looks the way that other people want it to look, or that your family has maybe planned it for you. Enough of that. You're going to follow your bliss. And overall, I'm getting a message of this being a very happy and very positive beginning of the new year for us. So have a good one.